but they put their lives on the way to protest an injustice to people who can't fight for themselves. And that is the highest level of humanity you can expect from anybody.
There is so much they talk about religion, Rani. You know what Bible tells? You have to fight for those who cannot fight for themselves. నిజమైన మగాడు అనేవాడు ఎలాంటి వాడు అనేది ఈ అమ్మాయి చెప్పింది నాకు చాలా బాగా నచ్చింది. ఇది లైవ్ షోలో ప్రసారం కాలేదు, తర్వాత ఇన్సర్ట్ చేస్తున్నాను. ప్లీజ్ వాచ్. So I want to move on to the next topic. I want to set this up, Andy. I will take you off screen, but I want to set this up. This is more serious thing. Everybody knows what happened in Minneapolis yesterday. I haven't watched the news. అంటే పొద్దున్నే ఒక వీడియో పెట్టాను. That was recorded the day earlier. And that was also about Minneapolis. Minneapolisలో చిన్న పిల్లల్ని అబ్డాక్ట్ చేసి ఎత్తుకెళ్ళిన దాని గురించి ఎక్కువగా ఫోకస్ పెట్టి వీడియో పెట్టాను. What's happening in Minneapolis? Actually, I can tell you which video I'm talking about. I am talking about... I'm not able to share the screen, but ఈ చిన్న పిల్లల్ని అందులో ఒక అతని పేరు లియం రామోస్ అనే కుర్రాడు బ్లూ హ్యాట్ ఒకటి పెట్టుకుని బన్నీ హ్యాట్ అన్నారు. అలాగే there are 4 kids involved in that abducting వాళ్ళని. There was a 11-year-old boy. They asked him for papers. ఇది బయటకు వెళ్ళాడు స్నాక్ తీసుకురావడానికి. ఇంకొక 5 ఇది లియం వచ్చేసి he was a 5-year-old boy. ఇంకొక 2-year-old kid జడ్జి ఆర్డర్స్ ఉన్నాయి నాట్ టు అబ్డక్ట్. సో ఆ ఫోకస్ తో పెడుతూ I talked a few things in that video. అది పెట్టి that was all before the shooting yesterday. సో yesterday షూటింగ్ వచ్చి అతని పేరు అలెక్స్ ప్రెటీ అనే ఒక నర్సు. కిరణ్ గారు పనిచేసేవారు, వెటరన్స్ అడ్మినిస్ట్రేషన్ లో పనిచేసేది. హీ ఈజ్ ఏ nurse in Veterans Administration. So 37-year-old ICU nurse, outdoorsman, legal gun owner. Okay. He got outraged by the specific item I was talking about. Kidnapping children. There is no thing. Custody lo తీసుకోవడం కాదు, ఏం కాదు. ICE has been kidnapping children. మీకు చూపించాం ఆ వీడియోలో 4 ఉదాహరణలు చూపించాం. అండ్ ఫెడరల్ అవుట్ రీచ్ కి ప్రొటెస్టర్ గా హీ హాస్ బీన్ ప్రొటెస్టింగ్. డోనట్ షాప్ ముందు ఇక్కడ జరిగింది ఈ ట్రాజడీ. ఫెడరల్ ఆఫీసర్స్ ఒక అమ్మాయిని అసాల్ట్ చేస్తుంటే ఆపడానికి ప్రయత్నించాడు. ఆ కిల్లింగ్ కి సంబంధించిన వచ్చిన వీడియోస్ పిక్చర్స్ కంటే ఐ లైక్ దిస్ సో మచ్. సమ్ ఆర్టిస్ట్ డ్రూ దిస్ వన్. దే వర్ అసాల్టింగ్ దిస్ ఉమన్. ఈ అమ్మాయిని. he went to protect them. Went to protect her. These guys sprayed, the officer sprayed pepper spray on his face. He was visually impaired. Tarvata vision vachesdi, not like completely blind out angadu. He had a gun on him. At this moment, officers saw the gun and then they started fighting him. This guy was blinded. He has his phone on his hand. He was picturizing this. That's all he has in his hand. He's not reaching out for his gun. That followed a scuffle. అందులో officers disarmed him. One officer disarmed him. And after disarming him, he said, I got the gun. So basically indicating that he's not armed. Actually, షూట్ చేసిన అతను ఈ గన్ కాన్ఫిస్కేట్ చేయటం చూసినట్లేదు. ఎన్ని యాంగిల్లో వీడియో చూసినా నేను ఆ వీడియో చూపించదలుచుకోలేదు మీకు, సారీ. సో దట్ ఈస్ సంథింగ్ ఐ వాంటెడ్ టు టెల్. ఎందుకంటే ఈవెన్ దో యూ డోంట్ సీ బ్లడ్, యూ డోంట్ సీ ఎనీథింగ్, బట్ ఇట్ విల్ అప్సెట్ యూ. మెయిన్ క్రూషియల్ డీటెయిల్ ఏంటంటే ద గన్ వాజ్ టేకెన్ అవే ఫ్రమ్ హిమ్. అండ్ అనదర్ క్రూషియల్ డీటెయిల్ ఇస్ హీ నెవర్ టచ్డ్ హిస్ గన్. All he had in his hand was his phone. The officers fired 14 shots at him. And as I said, this is the beginning of this. And this is how he shot him. He never reached for his gun. What you see in his right hand is his phone. And there is another police officer who already took his gun away and put it in their car seat. And the guy who is shooting him point blank in the back of his head is a ICE agent or border patrol, whatever that is. That is how his life ended. That is how his life ended. And that whole scene began with this, protecting that woman. And he's an ICU nurse. He's an ICU nurse. I mean, I told myself not to get angry, emotional, or anything. It's not possible for me. So I can see myself getting angry. But anyway, so remember this Sunday. Remember this. You don't have to watch the video. Remember this in your minds forever. This should last in your mind forever. And you know what? It's a classic picture. What is the difference, Andy? Those are Nazis. What is the difference between this and this? What is the difference between this and that? And also, remember this man, the soul. You know what Renee Good said? Her last words? You're fine, dude. I'm not mad at you. And then he shot her 3 times. And this guy's last words are, get off her. Are you okay? I will pause there and let myself cool down. Let Kiran and Muraligar, you can weigh in. Say some.
Muraligar, go ahead.
So the emotions are raw, Andy.
Sir, sorry.
Horrible.
అమ్మాయిని సేవ్ చేయటంలో తప్పలేదు సార్.
I mean, don't pass that kind of judgments here. అమ్మాయిని సేవ్ చేయడంలో తప్పు కాదు, హీరోయిజం ఉందండి.
అంటే హీరోయిజం అంటే అది
తప్పులేదు అంటాం కాదు. దట్ ఈస్ అండర్స్టేటింగ్ ద సిచువేషన్.
కాకపోతే ఇంకొక టేక్ అవే ఏంటంటే, అంటే మనము ఆఫ్టర్ ద ఫ్యాక్ట్ మనం డిస్కస్ చేసేటప్పుడు ఆయన నర్సు, ఆయన ఇంతకుముందు ఘటన ఫేస్ లో చేసాడు, ఇవన్నీ వస్తాయి. కానీ ఆన్ ద స్ట్రీట్ కిరణ్ తుమ్మలా కనిపించినా, మురళి కనిపించినా, ఎవరు కనిపించినా కానీ ఈయనది అని చెప్పి ఐసోలో కూడా పెద్ద తెలియదు. కాకపోతే
this is an execution. Trying to send fear, that spread fear within the community. అంత ఏ విధంగా చూసినా కానీ objectively try to say this is an execution.
It's 100% an execution, especially when you are shooting a person from behind on the head. That's at a point blank range. It is 100% an execution. And no two questions about it. వాడు చేసింది తప్పు, 100% తప్పు. కాకపోతే and he died like a hero. Let's face it. That's undeniable truth. అంటే ఈ గన్ లాస్ లో నాకు కొంచెం కొన్ని ఇబ్బందులు ఉంటాయి సార్. అంటే ఇప్పుడు ప్రైవేట్ గా
let's get to that. I mean, I have a sequence of the things.
What has happened is very unfortunate. And whoever has done that, and plus 5-6 మనుషులు అసలు, అంటే ఒక లేడీని ఎంత కంట్రోల్ చేయాలనుకున్నా, ఎంత మొలస్ట్, అంటే అసలు అంతమంది ఆడవ మీద పట్టడం ఏంటి అసలు. అంటే ఇది అన్హర్డ్ ఆఫ్ ఇన్ యుఎస్. అంటే మనం నేను ఇవాళకి దగ్గర 25 ఏళ్ళ నుంచి అమెరికాలో ఉన్నాను. ఎప్పుడు పోలీసు వాళ్ళు మనల్ని ఆపినా చాలా రెస్పెక్ట్ఫుల్ గా, అది ఓకే సార్, మీరు అంత బాగానే ఉందా, మీకు హెల్త్ బాగానే ఉందా, మీరు నేను ఈ రోడ్డు మీద ఈ స్పీడ్ వెళ్ళాలి, మీరు ఈ స్పీడ్ వెళ్తున్నారని చాలా మర్యాదగా, చాలా నీట్ గా మన లెటర్ మనకి ఇచ్చి, మన ఐడి తీసుకుని, ఐడి చెక్ చేసుకుని, మన లెటర్ మనకి ఇచ్చి, మన నోటీస్ మనకి ఇచ్చి పంపిస్తారు. చాలా మర్యాదగా ఉంటుంది. ఆ దేశంలో
ప్రాపర్లీ ట్రైన్డ్ పోలీస్ అండి. నిన్న పెట్టిన వీడియోలో చెప్పాను, ఆ మెయిన్ షరీఫ్, కంబర్లాండ్ కౌంటీ మెయిన్ షరీఫ్ చెప్పాడు. సో అబౌట్ ద బుష్ లీగ్ policing అన్నాడు. he used the phrase bush league policing. So let me continue with this story. We will have further discussion on it. So it is more important to cover this. The most disgusting piece of shit in America now, I don't think it is Donald Trump. It is this guy, Stephen Miller. But basically both are disgusting. So at some level of disgust, like, it doesn't make any difference who's worse on it. Stephen Miller says a domestic terrorist. This guy is ICU nurse whose job it is to save lives. Domestic terrorists tried to assassinate federal law enforcement, and this is your response. He's responding to somebody. I don't care what he's. You and the state. Oh, I think he may be talking to some Minnesota governor or something like that. You and your state's entire Democrat leadership team have been flaming the flames an insurrection for a singular purpose of stopping the deportation of illegals. Is that what you're doing, an asshole? He is not doing that. And then Greg Bavino, this guy who has a Napoleon complex. Napoleon complex అంటే మీకు తెలియకపోతే సారీ మీరు if your height is short, it's not anything personal dig at you. Napoleon కాన్సెప్ట్ అంటే బేసికల్ గా పొట్టి వాళ్ళకి ఉండే ఇన్సెక్యూరిటీతో వాళ్ళు అతిగా ప్రవర్తించడాన్ని నెపోలియన్ కాంప్లెక్స్ అంటారు. వాడంటాడు ఇట్ వాజ్ ఏ ప్లాన్డ్ మ్యాసకర్. ఇతనికి లోడ్ అండ్ గన్ ఉంది, అది తీసుకెళ్లి ఆ కార్ సీట్ లో పెట్టి దాని పిక్చర్ చేసి వైట్ హౌస్ ట్రంప్ ట్వీట్ చేశాడు. అలాగే అందరూ లైక్ ఎంటైర్ గవర్నమెంట్ ఆపరేటర్స్ ఆర్ షోయింగ్ దట్ గన్ యాజ్ అ ప్రూఫ్ దట్ హీ కేమ్ దేర్ టు డూ అ మ్యాసకర్. Remember the details I said. He has the phone. He never touched the gun. There are many videos. He never touched his gun. He was executed point blank with the gun pointed at the back of his head. That's what happened. And he says he came there to massacre them. And he said he brandished his weapon. Brandished his weapon ante gun చూపెట్టాడు. Gun చూపించడం తప్ప. Okay, first of all, he never did. He never brandished his weapon. Ante brandishing his weapon ante, I will show you, this is brandishing your weapon ante. This guy, most likely a Trump voter, went to a donut shop or a coffee shop to buy coffee with that weapon. That is brandishing his weapon. So if ICE agents are there, are they going to kill him? Or maybe if he wears a MAGA hat, he'll be safe. I'll get to the other goal. I mean, Stephen Miller కంటే దరిద్రమైన అనిపించేది ఒకసారి ఈవిడి గారు. This is God. Sorry, I had a show.
The White House has labeled the man who was killed in Minnesota as a domestic terrorist. Is that something you agree with? And have you seen any evidence to
when
back
you
up that claim?
perpetuate violence against a government because of ideological reasons and to
Ideological reasons?
Violence, that is the definition of domestic terrorism. This individual who came with weapons and ammunition to stop a law enforcement operation of federal law enforcement officers committed an act of domestic terrorism. That's the facts.
Where's the evidence of his
So
ideology?
Yes.
another video lo tanu chusanandi, she was saying, I don't know of any peaceful protester that shows up armed with ammunition. I don't know. This is what Kristi Noem said. You don't know? I will show you. Here are the armed protesters fully loaded with their weapons who came to protest. They have Trump and fence flag. These are the people. Armed protesters loaded with ammunition who showed up. Okay, one more thing I wanted to share here. Okay, sorry, just maybe redundant. One more thing. This is in the Michigan governor's office. ఆవిడ గ్రెచెన్ విట్మర్ ఆఫీసులకు వెళ్లకుండా చేసినారు వీళ్ళు ట్రంప్ సపోర్టర్స్, brandishing their weapons, fully loaded weapons. So should the Michigan whatever the Capitol Police shoot them all down because they're impeding some government function? They don't talk about this. Anyway, I have to calm down and give the floor to others to talk about.
It's very
Max garu kuda join ayarandi. Go ahead. I mean, I said what I have to say. I have more to say, but calm down.
And it's very unfortunate that the leaders of this country are treating this country as your country versus my country, your truth versus my truth. There is no single truth లేకుండా ఒక సింగిల్ కంట్రీ కాకుండా యువర్ కంట్రీ మై కంట్రీ, మీ అప్పుడు చేస్తేనేమో రైట్, మా అప్పుడు చేస్తేనేమో రాంగ్. అంటే అన్ఫార్చునేట్ గా ఇప్పుడు మీరు ఇందాక చూపించిన ఫొటోస్ లో ఆ ట్రంప్ సపోర్టర్లు కనుక మినియాపోలిస్ లో చేసినట్టు కానీ, లేకపోతే లాస్ట్ టైం ప్రెసిడెంట్ ట్రంప్ ఓడిపోయినప్పుడు డీసీలో చేసిన దరిద్రం కానీ అవి చూసినప్పుడు వాళ్ళ దగ్గర ఉన్న గన్నులు చూస్తే మరి వాళ్ళందరినీ కూడా సంపాల్సిందేగా చట్ట ప్రకారంగా అయితే.
No, they're supporting Trump and therefore it doesn't count.
So we have to accept the fact, we cannot keep our heads buried under the sand. This is now a fascist government. The thing is, yesterday I was watching Heather Cox Richardson, professor of history at Boston College, her podcast low. She made a statement. They know that they are lying. And we know that they are lying. And they know that we know that they are lying. But still, it's put out as the truth. And that is the hallmark of a fascist government, of a Nazi.
And exactly to go off that point, Murali Garu, I don't know if you guys, I don't know if you have on your topic of discussion for the podcast, but Davos lo Carney's speech.
Oh, yeah.
I have
yeah.
I don't know if we will be able to get it, but I do have it in my.
But anyway, so it exemplifies. That's what exactly is it, right? There was a system going on where US behaved as if they were allies, and we went along with it. We put up signs in the windows. That's the same thing. We know they're lying. And నాకు ఫస్ట్ టర్మ్ నుంచి ట్రంప్ది one of the ways you can, I think they built up a lot of right-wing ecosystem. They don't need regular media also to cover them. But if they had done it in the first term, basically, don't cover him if he's lying. Just because he's a president doesn't deserve to be covered when he's lying, when the administration lies. If Kristi Noem comes and says, don't just report on it, don't show her face, don't show her voice, boycott them. The way a society fight backs against fascism is, I think when they did the general strike the day before this shooting in Minnesota, was finally they are learning. The society is learning how to fight back. No ICE agent should have a hotel room to stay in Minnesota. No ICE agent should be able to eat in any restaurant in Minnesota. No people associated with them should have any interactions. Boycott them, socially boycott them. That is the only way we can fight back. మనం ఎన్ని ధర్నాలు చేయాలి, దే హ్యావ్ దట్ ప్లేస్. ఎన్ని చేసినా దానికి లిమిట్ ఉంటుంది. ద అదర్ థింగ్ ఇస్ బేసికలీ యూ హ్యావ్ టు మన లెవెల్లో చేయగలిగింది ఏంటంటే డోంట్ ఇంటరాక్ట్ విత్ దెమ్. I think we have to I bring back, I see, I don't know how many of you watched this movie, it's fresh in my mind, and Nate Jusano. There is a movie on Prime called Argentina 1985. If you haven't seen it, it's a Spanish film. Watch it. It's about the civilian government that comes after a dictatorship that ruled Argentina for 10 years. And it decides to prosecute the generals for the atrocities they can. And it's kind of a slow, dramatic movie, but see it how they talk about the same things. ఇప్పుడు మనం కిరణ్ గారు sometimes he does caveating, right? He says, when you go to protest చేయటం వరకు రైట్ కానీ అని చెప్పి వస్తుంది చూసారా. When you have నా పాయింట్ అంటే when you have an unjust presence of a police force exercising its unjust laws, like stopping and searching people just without any that is suspending my 4th Amendment right? That is violating my 14th Amendment right. Then I can protest. I don't have to follow the rules to protest their unlawful acts.
Okay, Draxler, I will stop you there because you gave me a important lead in there. Meeru fourth amendment అంటున్నారు, 14th amendment, ఎన్ని అమెండ్మెంట్లు ఉల్లంఘన తెలుసా? అతను ఏం చేశాడు, తన సెకండ్ అమెండ్మెంట్ రైట్ టు హోల్డ్ దట్ గన్, he went there to exercise his first amendment right, while they are violating 4th amendment all around the city. And now what's that state rights, the 10th amendment, federalism, 10th or 14th, whatever, then they are violating. I have something to show, a letter from Pam Bondi to Minnesota government. So there is absolute trampling of the constitution, all amendments, the whole shebang, complete tearing down of the constitution. That is exactly what is happening.
The point is, Murali garu annattu, the time has come for us to each one battle after another అని చెప్పి లేనట్టు మూవీ వచ్చినట్టు, we have to fight in a way that suits us, in a way keeps us safe. Not everyone is as brave as Alex Peretti or Rene Good. I'm not as brave as them. I openly admit I'm a coward in that sense. I don't put myself, both of them, white American citizens, had nothing to lose, but they put their lives on the way to protest an injustice to people who can't fight for themselves. And that is the highest level of humanity you can expect from anybody.
So there is so much they talk about religion, Rani. You know what Bible tells? You have to fight for those who cannot fight for themselves. That's what one of the key, the golden rule, almost golden rule antidiri. You fight for those who cannot fight for themselves. And Alex Petty, by any measure, he's a hero.
He has,
and then they call him domestic terrorist.
I can bet he has more qualifications than all the ICE agents jumping on him, because the qualification required to be an ICE agent is in high school education. This guy was an ICU nurse. I know what it takes to become an ICU nurse. These guys can't hold a fig leaf to what that guy achieved in his life. And these are the people policing us. Diniki JVL from Bulwark has a beautiful take on it. He says, the people who we give the power to carry a weapon, to take our life legally, have to be held to the highest standard. And we are not holding them to the highest standard. We are giving them excuses. They're saying you're facing threats every day, so you can then don't be in that line of work. Don't become an ICE agent. Don't become a police officer. You can't withstand that level of threats. Nobody is forcing you. You are getting that $50,000 bonus, and you are enrolling people who are completely unfit, untrainable, unqualified to do this job. And then you find excuses for them, like absolute immunity.
బైబిల్ చెప్పటమే కాదండి, బలహీనులని రక్షించడమే హీరోల లక్షణం. ఏమైనా తెలుగు సినిమాల్లో చెప్తారు చూసారా, ఆడు మగాడురా బుజ్జి అంటే. నిజమైన మగాడు అనేవాడు ఎలాంటి వాడు అనేది ఈ అమ్మాయి చెప్పింది నాకు చాలా బాగా నచ్చింది. ఇది లైవ్ షోలో ప్రసారం కాలేదు, తర్వాత ఇన్సర్ట్ చేస్తున్నాను. ప్లీజ్ వాచ్.
Today, I watched 3 different videos of a tall, handsome man standing up for what he believes in and protecting a woman and being murdered for it. We live in a world now where we can see different things with our eyes on different videos and we can make completely different conclusions from it. So even though my eyes saw a tall, handsome white man standing up for what he believes in respectfully while holding only a phone to record and protect a woman who was being attacked, being tear gassed, I saw on video that man be approached by a group of masked men who then pushed him, shoved him to the ground, beat him, pistol whipped him, shot him, and then continued shooting into his lifeless body on the ground. What I saw in watching that was I saw a group of men who are so obsessed with a very specific idea of masculinity that involves being tall and strong and powerful and standing up for what you believe in and protecting those weaker than you. And I saw a group of those men be so triggered by a man actually doing that in his community that they had to destroy him, that they had to use what power they had been given to destroy that man because of how threatened they were. And here is why I'm talking to you. Because I have a majority male follower. I don't know if this is going to get out to the algorithm. I don't know if anyone is going to see this. But if you do see this, I have a question for you. What kind of man do you want to be? I don't think you need to be any specific idea of masculinity, but right now we have 2 very, very different pictures of what a man looks like being shown to us. We have a hyper masculine image dressed up like a soldier, wearing masks, going out threatening people. But we also have men who are brave enough to stand with their community, stand with their neighbors, stand up for what they believe in, and protect those weaker than them. We're at a time, unfortunately, when you have to choose which one you want to be. Because ICE recruitments are happening, and you can either choose to be one of the ICE agents, you can choose to stand with your neighbors and be a protector, or I guess you could choose to stay home and hope that they don't ever come for you. But that doesn't really seem like a strong masculine image to me. So, what kind of man do you want to be? Today, I saw a strong man be murdered by weaker men. What kind of man are you? It's going to be time to choose. Thank you for listening.
What kind of a man you want to be? It's time to choose. Amen, sister. Alex Pretty is a real man and an American hero, and I salute him.